there, how are you? Welcome to the session of How the Church Lied About Love. I'm Alex Merritt, the love engineer, and on a mission to help powerhouse women and the men who love us break down communication barriers and equip us with the tools and skills we need to build amazing relationships. So do share this, do subscribe here to Dessert and Discussion as we continue to tackle the limiting relationship beliefs that many have about love and where they've come from. The church, people, the church, whether you had a church practice or you just had church experiences, a lot of what we're dealing with when it comes to relationships, people learned inside the church. And so How the Church Lied About Love is just to help you uncover what might be blocking you from the blessings of amazing relationships that you truly deserve and desire. And today's topic is about dating, how the church lied about love when it comes to dating and what kind of partner you should look for specifically for women. This became really apparent to me as I posted a post and I asked ladies, was like, hey, would you be interested in a committed relationship or a marriage to a man who's 33, not married, no children, never had a girlfriend, never been in a long-term relationship, and is a virgin? The comments blew up. And as you know, people were sharing was like, oh my God, no, this person has no experience. They may be mentally unstable. To some on the other end of the spectrum was like, I'd have a lot of questions. They could be. And then on the far end of the spectrum, it was like, yes, this sounds great. I can teach them. I can teach them a lot, and we have a blank slate to start from. And there's a whole lot of people in between. And then threw in, the fact was like, add in the fact that this guy is, does not have a steady job, moves around from city to city, stays with friends or family whenever he can, is always out and about, hangs out with his boys a lot. Does that change anything about this man? And of course, depending on where you are in the relationship space, it does. You're like, wait, what are we doing? How are we doing this? But at the end of the day, that guy, this dude, again, that many people want to date or don't want to date, has been encouraged as the model man for so many women across pulpits where it's like, yes, that's the guy you're looking for. That dude is also known as Jesus, right? I describe Jesus Christ, right? That was the story of Jesus. And who he was in the flesh as he walked upon this earth according to the Bible. But the reality is that many people don't want to date Jesus, myself included as a love engineer. And what inspired this is a few years ago when I was hosting Dessert and Discussion, I had a sister tell me that. She was like, Alex, if Jesus was in the flesh, he would not qualify to date you. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. And so one of the lies that, again, we've given people in the spirit of trying to have them be equally yoked, we've laid out the model man as Jesus Christ himself. And what that sets people up to do is to be disappointed no matter what, because there are no men that walk this earth right now who come even close to Jesus. It's like, well, be Christ-like. What does Christ-like mean? Which aspects of Christ do you want that he cannot have? When we set up the comparison of human beings to Christ in that way, particularly as it relates to relations, then what you set her up for or him up for is to constantly feel like you're settling, to constantly feel like nobody's ever good enough, or to constantly feel like you're somehow, you need to hold out for better. Why? Because there is always somebody better when the comparison is Christ. As opposed to teaching the reality of what you actually should be looking for, which are characteristics that are compatible to you and to what you value and what you need or what you desire in a great relationship. And so if you have ever been told to date Jesus, if you've ever been told that Jesus is your husband, know that you might have an artificial comparison to perfection in your mind, and it seems spiritual. However, it is a thing that separates you and keeps you separate, actually, from a potential partner, because you won't even let yourself explore anything beyond how often does he go to church or not, because what you're set yourself up for is to look for everything that could be wrong with this person. And oh, by the way, when Jesus is the baseline, there is always something you can find wrong. And so though we've given people this idea of here's the kind of man you should strive for, we've also artificially set her up to never ever have that guy, and whatever guy she gets, she artificially believes she's settling. Why? Because there are no men on the earth that compare to Jesus. Now, flip side, the way the church lies about love to men is the exact same thing, because first of all, we tell women to date Jesus. We tell women to date Jesus. We tell her that that Jesus can be her husband and replace. But who do we tell men? Who do we tell men that they can date? Is it Mary? But on so many levels, that's exactly who we're telling him to date. The Virgin Mary specifically, right? We teach that women should be virgins and that she should be pure. But nobody planned for 40-year virgins. Nobody, that's not what they had in mind when they start setting that up, right? And so that becomes a thing and becomes this marker of purity. But the way it sets men up, because again, when you teach somebody, when you for all her life, she's been taught that, virgin purity puts her closest to God. And I've been there. I know what that is, that her virginity becomes her identity. Well, then when she is ready to now start making love and enjoying physical intimacy, there's not a switch that just flips off. No, she has to now undo all of that programming that says sex is bad, sex is shameful, sex is not something you should want to do. And so now here are husbands who are desiring vixens when they married virgins. And even if she's physically no longer a virgin, mentally she is still one. And is not interested often in exploring, because again, her identity is linked to virginity, which then puts her close to God. She loses that, and then it becomes a question of who is she? What now does she bring? Because that's a thing you lose, quote unquote. And by the way, it's not lost. You know exactly who you've shared this intimate experience with. But because we've taught her that there's something shameful and bad about it, she has a hard time opening up even to her husband. And so there are a lot of married people that are having less sex than people who are not married. Why? Because that whole construct was erroneously anchored between perfection and purity. And there was nothing in the middle of there that helps you break them. And so if he's not like Christ, i.e. if he's not Jesus in the flesh, and if she's not completely pure, i.e. virgin, then there's all these conflicts, disappointments, shames, and all these things that come with it. And so you must be willing to break past that in order to truly have an amazing relationship. And so inside of my love and life frameworks that I teach, there are 3 components that you must be willing to do if you are truly to have the relationship you deserve and desire. One is unlearn. You must be willing to unlearn the limiting beliefs, limiting love beliefs specifically, that are blocking the relationship you desire. Be you in the church or be ye not, right? Because from the pulpit to the parking lot, relationships are struggling to live up to the ideals that are being espoused in many sanctuaries. 2, must be willing to relearn what truly love means to you and what matters most to you in your partnerships, in your marriage, in your relationship, whatever that looks like. And then 3, embrace love and embrace yourself, right? Because you are 100% of every relationship you will ever have. You are always going to be in it. And so being willing to embrace the beauty that is you, and truly heal and open yourself up to be able to receive the love you deserve and desire. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Drop what you've been taught about dating from the church below. Talk to you soon. Again, this is Alex, the Love Engineer. Share this video, subscribe here to the channel, and I look forward to you building an amazing relationship that you love.